The young and the restless spoilers shock Claire's ingenious scheme. A fake death that shook Genoa. Rumors swirled through Genoa City like wildfire. Claire had poisoned Jordan with a lethal drink. The whispers grew louder, the accusations sharper, and nearly everyone believed she had orchestrated the perfect murder. But those who thought Claire capable of such malice didn't understand the depth of her compassion, gratitude, and cunning. Her actions, though shrouded in mystery, weren't driven by hatred or revenge, but by something far more complex. The truth? Claire didn't kill Jordan. Instead, she staged an elaborate deception, a fake death designed to outmaneuver Victor Newman and the ever-watchful eyes of Genoa City. It wasn't murder, it was a masterpiece of manipulation. The bond between Claire and Jordan. To understand Claire's motives, we must first understand her relationship with Jordan. Their bond wasn't simple. It was forged through shared struggles, unspoken promises, and a mutual respect that transcended the ordinary. Jordan, a woman of iron will and fierce independence, had once been Claire's lifeline. Whether it was a debt owed or an emotional connection too deep to articulate, Claire couldn't bear the thought of Jordan's downfall, especially at the hands of the powerful Newman family. Jordan had become a target. Her relentless pursuit of her ambitions and her unshakable determination to outplay the Newmans had painted a bullseye on her back. Victor Newman, the patriarch of Genoa City's most powerful family, wasn't the type to let enemies roam freely. Claire knew that Jordan's days in Genoa were numbered. Her choice was clear: save Jordan, even if it meant deceiving the entire city. Claire's masterstroke, a death that never was the plan, was as audacious as it was dangerous. Claire orchestrated the illusion of Jordan's death with meticulous care. Every detail was flawless. The poisoned drink, Jordan's sudden collapse, and the carefully planted evidence that pointed toward an untraceable toxin. Victor and his allies were convinced. To them, Jordan was gone, and the threat she posed had been neutralized. But Claire didn't just stop at faking Jordan's death. She ensured that the city mourned her in silence. There were no public announcements, no grand ceremonies. Instead, she spun the narrative that Jordan had been quietly removed from Genoa City's chaos, her death a tragic but private affair. This secrecy allowed Claire the breathing room she needed to complete her plan. Jordan, of course, had no idea she was the centerpiece of this elaborate ruse. When she regained consciousness in a remote, undisclosed location, confusion overwhelmed her. To her, life had simply continued, a brief lapse, perhaps, but nothing out of the ordinary. The truth, however, was far more complicated. The price of freedom, Jordan's new life. Claire's ultimate goal wasn't just to save Jordan's life but to give her a new one. In Genoa City, Jordan's enemies outnumbered her allies, and her ambitions had painted her into a corner. Claire knew that the only way Jordan could survive was to disappear completely, to shed her identity and start anew. But would Jordan, a woman known for her indomitable spirit, ever agree to such a fate? When Jordan awoke, Claire was waiting. She explained everything: the staged death, the escape plan, and the new identity waiting for her beyond Genoa City's borders. For the first time, Jordan saw the depth of Claire's loyalty and ingenuity. But Claire knew convincing Jordan wouldn't be easy. After all, Jordan wasn't the type to run from a fight, even when the odds were stacked against her. Jordan's decision: freedom or revenge? For Jordan, the concept of death had always been abstract. To her, death wasn't the end but merely another obstacle to conquer. And now, faced with the reality of her supposed demise, Jordan had a choice to make. Would she embrace the freedom Claire had given her, or would she return to Genoa City to reclaim her place? Claire pleaded with her. "This is your chance," she said, her voice steady but urgent. "A chance to escape the cycle of revenge, to live without looking over your shoulder. The Newmans won't let you win, Jordan. But out there, beyond Genoa, you can build something they can never take from you." For a moment, Jordan considered it. The idea of a fresh start was tempting. But she was Jordan, a woman defined by her determination and refusal to back down. Could she truly walk away from everything she had built, everything she had fought for? To Jordan, death wasn't the end, it was an opportunity. The Newman family, a legacy of power and unity. While Jordan wrestled with her decision, the Newman family remained a looming force in Genoa City. Known for their unbreakable unity and sheer dominance, the Newmans were always a step ahead of their rivals. It wasn't just their wealth or power that made them formidable, it was their ability to close ranks in the face of any threat. Victor Newman, the family patriarch, had built an empire on the foundation of loyalty and strength, and his family carried that legacy with pride. To Victor, Jordan's death was a victory. Another rival eliminated, another threat neutralized. But Claire's deception had allowed her to outwit even the great Victor Newman, proving that even the most powerful families could be blindsided by ingenuity and loyalty. An uncertain future in the end, Claire's plan succeeded, but only partially. Jordan had vanished from Genoa City, her enemies none the wiser. But her fate remained uncertain. Would she heed Claire's advice and embrace her second chance, or would she return to the city that had nearly destroyed her? Claire, for her part, could only hope that Jordan would choose freedom over revenge. The thorns of hatred and rivalry had caused enough pain, and Claire believed it was time to let them go. The Newman family had won the battle, as they always did, but Claire had won something far greater, the knowledge that she had done everything in her power to save someone she cared about. The lesson behind the scheme. Claire's story is a testament to the power of loyalty, creativity, and the lengths we're willing to go for those we hold dear. Her actions may have been unconventional, even deceptive, but they were driven by a deep sense of love and gratitude. In the end, Claire proved that sometimes, the most powerful victories are the ones fought not with weapons or power, but with heart and ingenuity. And as for Jordan? Only time would tell whether she would embrace the life Claire had given her, or return to Genoa City to confront the Newmans once more. One thing was certain, her story was far from over. Claire's dangerous game, loyalty or betrayal? Genoa City thrived on secrets, schemes, and alliances, and Claire was no stranger to the delicate dance of loyalty and deception. To some, her actions might have looked like a betrayal of the Newman family, the very people who had trusted and empowered her. But for Claire, it was never about betrayal. It was about balance. She wasn't turning against the Newmans, she was simply trying to tidy up a dangerous mess before it spiraled out of control. Her intentions were noble, but the risks? Astronomical. By saving Jordan, Claire walked a razor-thin line between heroism and treachery. If her plan were ever discovered, she would lose everything, the trust of the Newmans, her carefully built reputation, and the life she had worked so hard to secure. Despite her cunning and confidence, even Claire knew that one wrong move could send her entire world crumbling down. Claire's gamble, a risk worth taking? Jordan had become a thorn in the Newman family's side, a rival too dangerous to ignore. Claire had been instrumental in setting the trap that ultimately led to Jordan's downfall, crafting a strategy so flawless that even Jordan, with all her wit and resilience, couldn't escape. It was Claire who had orchestrated the victory, ensuring that the Newmans remained on top. But when the dust settled, Claire found herself in a moral quandary. Jordan wasn't just another adversary. Their history was complicated, layered with moments of camaraderie and unspoken understanding. Claire couldn't stand by and watch as Jordan was utterly destroyed, even if it meant risking her alliance with the Newmans. The plan to fake Jordan's death wasn't an act of betrayal, it was an act of redemption. Yet, Claire wasn't naive. She knew the stakes. If Victor Newman or anyone in his family discovered her involvement in Jordan's disappearance, her life as she knew it would be over. The Newmans were ruthless with those who crossed them, and Claire had seen firsthand what happened to those who betrayed their trust. The fragility of secrets. The brilliance of Claire's plan lay in its simplicity. By faking Jordan's death, she had removed her from the chessboard without leaving a trace. To the world, Jordan was gone, a victory for the Newmans and a closure for Genoa City. But secrets in Genoa were like embers in a fire, they always had a way of reigniting when least expected. Jordan, unaware of Claire's involvement in her supposed demise, was the biggest wildcard. If she ever discovered the truth, if she realized that Claire had manipulated her fate, there was no guarantee she would keep the secret. Jordan was a woman of action, driven by pride and ambition. The idea of staying hidden, living a life dictated by someone else's scheme, might prove unbearable for her. And if she decided to expose Claire's plan to Victor Newman? It would be the end. Claire's mind raced with possibilities. Every scenario led to the same conclusion: the slightest misstep could destroy her. The loyalty she had spent years cultivating within the Newman family could vanish in an instant. And yet, she believed the risk was worth it. Saving Jordan wasn't just an act of compassion, it was a way to reclaim a part of herself that had been buried under years of scheming and power plays. Claire's vulnerability, a trap of her own making. Ironically, Claire was now ensnared in a trap of her own design. The same meticulous planning that had brought Jordan to her knees was now threatening to unravel her carefully constructed life. It was a cruel twist of fate, proof that even the most calculated minds could make mistakes. Claire's brilliance had always been her ability to anticipate every outcome, to see the game several moves ahead. But this time, she was playing against herself. Her decision to save Jordan, though noble, was riddled with potential pitfalls. What if someone pieced together the truth? What if Victor Newman, a man known for his sharp instincts and unforgiving nature, began to suspect her? What if Jordan, out of spite or desperation, decided to reveal everything? These questions haunted Claire, but she couldn't afford to dwell on them. She had to move forward, to maintain the facade of loyalty while quietly ensuring that her secret remained buried. Every interaction with the Newmans was a test, every conversation a potential minefield. Claire's every word, every action, had to be perfect. There was no room for error. Jordan's role, a double-edged sword. Jordan's survival presented another complication. Though she was free from Genoa City's machinations, her future was anything but certain. For Claire, Jordan was both a victory and a liability. On one hand, her survival proved Claire's resourcefulness and ability to outmaneuver even the most powerful opponents. On the other hand, Jordan's unpredictable nature made her a ticking time bomb. Would Jordan embrace her new life and disappear quietly, or would her pride drive her back to Genoa City for one last confrontation? Claire couldn't predict her next move, and that uncertainty was a constant source of tension. Every day that passed without word from Jordan was both a relief and a source of anxiety. The longer Jordan stayed silent, the greater the risk that she was planning something. The Newman family, trust and power. The Newman family had always been a symbol of unity and dominance in Genoa City. Their strength lay in their unwavering loyalty to one another, their ability to close ranks in the face of adversity. To betray the Newmans wasn't just dangerous, it was suicidal. Claire knew this better than anyone. Victor Newman, the family's patriarch, was a man who valued loyalty above all else. He had given Claire a place in his world, trusting her to act in the family's best interests. If he ever discovered her role in Jordan's survival, his wrath would be swift and unforgiving. Claire would lose not only her position but also her identity. Everything she had worked for, her alliances, her influence, her power, would be stripped away. For Claire, the stakes couldn't be higher. She had placed herself in an impossible position, torn between her loyalty to the Newmans and her desire to save Jordan. The weight of her decision was crushing, but she couldn't allow herself to falter. The Newman family was her lifeline, but Jordan was her redemption. A fragile victory in the end, Claire's plan was both a triumph and a tragedy. She had succeeded in saving Jordan, in giving her a second chance at life. But the cost of that victory was a constant, gnawing fear. The fear that her secret would be discovered, that her carefully constructed world would come crashing down. Claire's story is a reminder that even the most brilliant minds are fallible, that even the most calculated plans can unravel. Her actions weren't driven by betrayal or malice, but by a desperate need to protect what little humanity she had left. Yet, in doing so, she had put everything she held dear at risk. As Genoa City continued to move forward, unaware of the storm brewing beneath its surface, Claire was left to wonder, had she made the right choice? Or had she simply delayed the inevitable?